Come on, do Nazi stuff.
Yeah, why won't he do the Nazi stuff?
Look out for Charlie.
It's very easy to understand the life cycle of Bolshevism. It seems to rear its head every, 20 years or so, but they seem to get their way every 100 years or so, where it just goes bonkers. And when I say Bolshevism, I mean the beatniks, the hippies. You could even throw like grunge culture into that. There were a lot of Bolshevik traits to that. And all the way up to the Rajneeshis here. It always ends in murder. A lot of people die, and then they start over. This is what they do. If you had told me that it was that cut and dry when I was 18, I would have been like, no way, dude, it's not that simple. And it would have sounded a little closed-minded to me. But it is that simple. The same type of people infiltrate these groups every time and steer them in a different direction. Punk turned Bolshevik. All of these counterculture groups end up in the exact same place with a different uniform. So if you want to understand the life cycle of Bolshevism, there is a documentary called Wild Wild Country that's on Netflix. And this is pretty old. And I've been talking about this for a long time, but I haven't talked about it here. What they do is they seek refuge in America, and they move to this small, very rural area. And when they don't get their way, they start doing insane shit. And it is exactly from the Bolshevik Playbook. They start to transport in people who can vote for them, for the people that they want, because they're trying to take over this town. And the way to do that is to take over the voting structure. So they start transporting all these homeless alcoholics that are living around these overeducated, brainwashed idiots, right? So they can't get along in the first place, but they're trying to use them as an extra head to take over, double the population, When that starts going awry, these Bolsheviks, look at these people. These are hippies, and this is the way they always present themselves. It's always in some type of uniform. We mean no harm, right? What ends up happening is they set up a biolab and they poison the entire city. No joke. They attempt to poison the city. And one brave guy said, dude, it's the Rajneeshis. They did this. And everybody said he was fucking crazy. And later on, it turns out that he was absolutely correct. They tried to poison him. Now, this is a scenario where these people would say to him, why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody do that to you? Why would somebody do that to us? But that is what these people do. The playbook never changes. So if you want to understand Bolshevism and why would people do something, watch this documentary. It's very enlightening. And I'm telling you, like this main person right here, this woman, right? She is not Indian. This is a scam. And it's just like any scenario where, in Hollywood, they had people trying to influence the masses. Influence Italians. For example, let's say Italians want to influence Italians and get them acting like dumbasses and pin all gangster, murderous behavior on the Italians. Well, that's what they do. Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, hey, partially Italian, not Italian. Andrew Dice Clay, hey, Marietta Little fucking Lamb, not Italian at all. The Fonz, not Italian. But they get these people acting a certain way. It's subtle, but it's effective. And when you attempt to nail these people down and say, why are you doing this? Why are you playing, an Italian? They might say something like, well, I wasn't. I was just playing a New York guy. We were just depicting a New York guy. Well, no, you weren't. You're lying. You developed this stereotype over the years, right? And then you play that stereotype and people automatically assume that you're a New York Italian. So, yes, you are. You're lying. As Dr. Klopek said in The Burbs, you can fool the rest of them, but you can't fool me. So, Wild Wild Country. Total look into the Bolshevik Playbook and how they do this stuff. And it all intertwines together. And this woman, she may have came from India, but she is not Indian. With enough research, she's not Indian. And he might not be either, but she isn't. And I'm positive of it. And the best part is, she attempts to appeal to people's sympathies in this. It's awesome. Check this out.
It was my conviction that in US we will have no problems. The Constitution I thought was very sacred.
The Constitution I thought was very sacred. But yet, you move in, you start bringing in people to vote. Just breaking the rules of ethics, you know, just breaking those invisible rules, and then they start attempting to poison people. Wow. But the Constitution was very sacred to her. Subverter, man. Subverter. Bolshevik. 100% Bolsheviks. They should have just called themselves the Bolsheviks. So who are the people using RF weapons to drive these people to do these types of events? The same kind of people. They have a temper tantrum because the masses won't, you know, relinquish, or they want to speed up the process of digitalization or pre-crime, the mental health Gestapo. So they begin these types of events in mass so quickly that you can't keep track of what the hell's going on. You know, it's just madness. But it's the same type of people every time. Every time. But you will find them in the DHS, the Feds, the NSA, Mossad, working for independent contractors, NASA. Anybody involved in full spectrum dominance is going to be involved in this type of technology, or have a hand in it, or at least know about it. And I'm not talking about everybody, not every field agent or common worker, the guy that works on the hydraulics of something. I'm talking about the core. There's only a core to every company. You know, if you go down to Ford and you look at the people that are working in a Ford stamping plant, for example, nobody really knows what's going on there except for a few people at the top. The rest are just cogs in the machine. So these are the same type of people doing this stuff. It's the exact same type of people. If they can't have it their way, they would rather destroy it and create chaos than deal with it in a rational and normal manner. They are subverters. They have to tweak reality, and that's exactly what they're doing, is tweaking reality. And when you look at who this benefits, you know, cui bono, it benefits the mental health Gestapo, it benefits tyrants, and it benefits authoritarianism. It doesn't benefit anything else. It's total control. And that's what this was over the past 3 years. This was a big temper tantrum. They couldn't put the brakes on stuff, so they just destroyed it all. You know, in Michigan, there are still businesses that are closed 3 years later, 2023, and there are businesses that are still closed. Supermarkets, places that used to be open 24 hours, could do all my shopping at 3 in the morning. They're no longer open. They close at midnight, or they close at 11. You know, AutoZone used to be open till 11 or midnight. Some shops were 24 hours. Are no longer open like that. They close at 9 o'clock. You know, it's madness. And they're still doing this. This is still going on in Michigan. The remnants of their temper tantrum is still going on. And what does that do? That packs all these people into these buildings at the same time. That does not stop the spread of something. That helps the spread of something. That is fucking madness. But it's all the same people. It's the same thing, same people, same playbook, same bullshit, different scenario, different uniform, same thing. Everything that you see going on right now is due to these people. The whole left-right thing, I've never believed in it. Even when I was a little kid, it looked like a clowny puppet show. Couldn't believe that people would actually argue back and forth about this, because these people are in the middle. It was obvious, it's always been obvious, that these people are getting played left and right, and it's divisive. The more divisive it is, the better. They are going to push America to the point where people are so dehumanized on each side that they attack each other, create what would be a civil war or a civil war scenario that is already going on right now in a cold way. And then what they will do is they will come in and implement everything that they want to implement. And they will use it as an excuse. They're laughing their asses off right now at what is going on. Laughing their asses off. You're playing right into their hands. And pay attention, because these people will join in on certain things as long as it's divisive and creates friction between two sides. Like if you notice, they don't touch 9/11, they won't touch Columbine, they won't touch any of these events. And you know what I'm talking about, Aurora, all this stuff. But they'll get all over the pokety poke, and you'll see these trolls and moles talking about the pokety poke because it's divisive, because it separates and it divides people. It's been politicized. They have literally politicized everything. And what used to be left and right is no longer left and right. They flipped everything on its head. When I was a kid and I would talk about weather modification or any of that stuff with people, older people would call you a commie or a pinko until you explained yourself and go, no, it's not like that. These were leftist ideas in a way. They were considered leftist ideas. I was never a leftist and never on the right. However, now they've flipped it, so everything that the left talked about before, or what was considered left, is now right-wing conspiracy. It's absolutely mad. All they've done is flip the script on everything. You know, why aren't these environmentalists all over the aluminum rates that have skyrocketed in the soil and in the air from weather modification, or the conductive skies, or making the skies conductive? Why aren't these people complaining about that? Because it's not in the agenda, and anything that talks about weather mods or anything like that is now right-wing conspiracy. And who did that? A lot of these things were neither left or right in the past, but somehow when everybody got aboard the train in 2016, it's now right-wing conspiracy. But you're all being pushed down these cattle chutes, and you don't even realize it. And then you end up at the end and you're like, fuck, what just happened? Everything that has happened in the past 15, 20 years has been planned. It was all planned. Every single bit of it. Right down to the social shit that you see happening right now. Everything. The poisoned people who are running around thinking that everything's cool and they were born like that when they've been poisoned. All of it. It's been planned. But they had to wait. They had to wait for the greatest generation to die off before they started this. Because if the greatest generation would have seen this happen after they went to war to stop this kind of stuff, they would have lost their minds. They had to wait until these people were totally disabled and until they were totally out of the picture. All of it is at the right time. It's no different than a television show. When just at the right time somebody shows up. Well, this is no different. When you look at it scenario by scenario, it is no different. It would be very hard to understand that unless I studied what these people do and how they do it over and over and over. And then it's pretty easy to understand. The mindset never changes. It never changes with these people. And the scariest thing is that they're talking about now, if everybody could just forget. If everybody could just forget everything from the past, we could start over anew. Bad idea. How does a turtle know how to be a turtle? A turtle's information is passed down through DNA, and it knows how to be a turtle. Every living creature is reincarnated in that way. And when they start messing with DNA and RNA and wiping out memories, you're going to have a group of stupid people and actually have their past wiped from their DNA memory. That is the reset. When you reset the human being to not remember, to start over, that is the reset. And then you've got unwise, stupid people with no DNA memory and the technology to control them all. They couldn't wait to get books and information into the digital space because you can instantly censor it. They couldn't fucking wait. And then once they got there, people still had history talking about the Bolshevik Revolution, talking about, 60 million people murdered by Bolsheviks, like insane numbers of people murdered by these people, just history in general that they don't want out there. That is when they start talking about, we need to forget. We need to forget. We should just erase history. That is what they are saying. We need to erase history because we need to forget and start over. But I'm telling you that it will end up them talking about erasing DNA, because they are covertly doing that to people anyway. So they're going to erase your DNA so it has no wisdom passed down, no intuition, none of it. And that will be the reset. People are already way dumber than they were 25 years ago. Could that be from radio frequency? Yes. Could that be from a combination of radio frequency and aluminum toxicity and other metals? Yeah, absolutely. Is it all together? Absolutely. But when they are wiping DNA, that will be the ultimate. Because they're not going to wipe theirs, they're going to wipe yours. It'll start with the history books and history, and it will end with your DNA. And they are so desperate and so insane that they are doing all this stuff right in front of your face, whether you like it or not, and they don't even give a shit anymore. That is how brazen these people have gotten. Insane, insecure, scared, and brazen. We're going to plow ahead. We're behind schedule. We're going to plow ahead. That is the attitude these people have taken. They are your enemy. These are really bad photos because I was driving. But, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a dozen trails in front of this full moon. Here's another photo of it. Bunch of trails just in front of the moon. And if you brought it up to one of these people, they'd go, oh, no, that's not happening. It's like, what? It's like flipping somebody off right in their face. And you go, why'd you just flip me off? And they're like, I didn't flip you off. Like, it is ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. But this is what they're doing. And only a fucking idiot could ignore this kind of shit. So this is where they're at. They're literally just doing shit in front of your face and going, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. On everything, on every level. Even their science. Their science is a backwards consensus cult. And these people just need to be shut down. I'll use their term. They need to be shut down. And that's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
I don't like the world now. I mean, before I always knew I was a son of a bitch. But now I'm the only son of a bitch I know. I make way for a real human being. Get out of the way, yeah.
Look out for Charlie.
I want that son of a bitch dead. I want him dead.